And Panama's promise to us has been broken. Panama Canal is a disgrace. We're being ripped off at the Panama Canal.
Imagine standing at the entrance of one of the world's most vital waterways, the Panama Canal. The constant hum of activity here is a testament to global trade, with ships of all sizes navigating its locks, seamlessly connecting the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. But recently, whispers of an unprecedented U.S. intervention have captured global attention. What triggered such a drastic move? In this video, we explore the shocking events surrounding the Panama Canal, dissect the technical details of the crisis, and examine the consequences of the U.S. stepping in. As Joe Rogan aptly stated on his podcast, when systems fail, it's a wake-up call for how fragile our infrastructure really is. But what led to this dramatic intervention? And what does it mean for the future of global commerce? A routine day turns alarming. It started as an ordinary day for the Panama Canal Authority, overseeing the steady flow of vessels through one of the world's most critical waterways. Ships transported goods between oceans, with the precision of a well-conducted orchestra. Suddenly, the rhythm stopped when an unexpected disruption triggered alarms across control centers. Reports of unusual vibrations beneath the Miraflores locks raised immediate concerns. Initially dismissed as a minor technical glitch, the issue quickly proved to be far more complex and alarming. Engineers deployed advanced deep-sea drones to investigate the canal's foundations. Early scans uncovered hairline fractures in critical infrastructure sections. At first glance, these cracks might have seemed like natural wear and tear in a canal with over a century of service. However, a deeper analysis revealed a far graver threat. Geologists involved in the investigation suggested that the fractures could be linked to a previously undetected tectonic fault line beneath the canal. If confirmed, this fault posed a catastrophic risk not only to the canal's operations, but also to the global trade networks reliant on its smooth functioning. The U.S. steps in. The implications were immediate and far-reaching. The Panama Canal is a crucial artery for international commerce, handling billions of dollars worth of goods annually. A potential collapse or prolonged closure would send shockwaves through global supply chains. What began as a local issue rapidly escalated into an international crisis, drawing the attention of governments and corporations worldwide. The United States, which managed the canal until its handover to Panama in 1999, still held significant economic and strategic interests in the waterway. Recognizing the potential fallout, the U.S. government swiftly offered technical and financial assistance, presenting the intervention as a cooperative effort to stabilize a vital global resource. Specialized teams from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers collaborated with Panamanian authorities to assess the canal's structural integrity and develop emergency response plans. Simultaneously, international bodies such as the United Nations and the World Trade Organization convened emergency sessions to address the looming disruption. Major trading nations, including China, the European Union, and Japan, mobilized their diplomatic channels to ensure a coordinated response. Shipping companies scrambled to reroute vessels through alternative passages like the Suez Canal, or undertake longer journeys around the Cape of Good Hope, leading to increased fuel consumption and higher shipping costs. This rerouting not only delayed deliveries, but also strained global logistics networks already burdened by recent economic fluctuations. In the financial sector, stock markets reacted nervously to the uncertainty surrounding the canal's status. Commodities such as oil, electronics, and agricultural products saw price volatility as investors anticipated potential shortages and increased transportation expenses. Insurance companies faced a surge in claims related to delayed shipments and damaged goods, prompting discussions about risk mitigation strategies for future infrastructure vulnerabilities. Panamanian government officials, under immense pressure, worked closely with international experts to expedite repairs and reinforce the canal's defenses against environmental and structural threats. Environmental agencies monitored the situation to prevent ecological damage from exacerbated by the crisis, ensuring that remediation efforts did not further harm the delicate ecosystems surrounding the canal. Public communication strategies were implemented to keep both local populations and global stakeholders informed, aiming to maintain confidence in the canal's management and the effectiveness of the recovery operations. Corporations with vested interests in the canal's functionality, such as Maersk, MSC, and other global shipping giants, engaged in high-level negotiations to secure priority access once the canal was operational again. They also invested in contingency plans, including the expansion of their own logistical infrastructures to mitigate future disruptions. Additionally, technology firms offered innovative solutions, leveraging real-time data analytics and predictive modeling to enhance the canal's monitoring systems and prevent similar crises from occurring. The crisis underscored the Panama Canal's pivotal role in the interconnected global economy, highlighting the necessity for robust international cooperation and resilient infrastructure. As efforts to restore normalcy progressed, the incident prompted a re-evaluation of global trade dependencies, fostering initiatives aimed at diversifying supply routes and reinforcing critical maritime choke points to safeguard against future disruptions. Rising public concern. As news of the canal's vulnerability spread, public concern intensified. Media outlets speculated on the possible consequences of the fault line's discovery, amplifying fears through constant coverage and expert analyses. Headlines ranged from dire warnings about potential disruptions to in-depth features exploring the canal's historical significance and its role in global trade. Social media platforms buzzed with discussions, misinformation, and debates, further heightening anxiety among the public and industry stakeholders alike. Could ships be forced to reroute around South America's Cape Horn, adding weeks to their journeys? This question dominated logistical forums and maritime conferences as experts weighed the feasibility and repercussions of such a diversion. The Cape Horn route, notorious for its treacherous waters and unpredictable weather, would not only extend shipping times, but also increase the risk of accidents and cargo damage. Additionally, the longer distances would result in higher fuel consumption, escalating operational costs for shipping companies, and ultimately leading to increased prices for consumers worldwide. Would the already fragile global economy withstand such a disruption? Economists and financial analysts expressed deep concerns about the potential ripple effects. Industries reliant on just-in-time delivery models, such as electronics, automotive, and pharmaceuticals, faced the threat of significant delays and production halts. Supply chain bottlenecks could trigger a cascade of economic setbacks, from increased costs of goods to potential job losses in sectors dependent on efficient logistics. Governments and international organizations began to assess contingency plans, exploring measures to mitigate the anticipated economic downturn. Amid the uncertainty, the Panama Canal Authority, ACP, faced immense pressure to reassure stakeholders and the public while managing the enormity of the challenge ahead. Leadership within the ACP engaged in transparent communication strategies, holding press conferences, and releasing regular updates to keep all parties informed. They collaborated closely with engineering experts to develop and implement immediate safety measures, ensuring the canal's operational integrity while addressing the newly identified fault line. Efforts to expedite repairs and reinforce infrastructure were prioritized, with additional funding and resources allocated to accelerate the restoration process. This crisis marked a pivotal moment, not just for the canal, but for the delicate balance of global trade. It underscored the vulnerability of critical infrastructure and the interconnectedness of international economies. Policymakers and business leaders began to advocate for increased investments in infrastructure resilience, emphasizing the need for proactive measures to prevent similar crises in the future. The situation also prompted a re-evaluation of dependency on singular trade routes, encouraging diversification and the exploration of alternative pathways to enhance global supply chain robustness. Furthermore, the environmental implications of potential rerouting and extended shipping times came under scrutiny. Environmentalists raised concerns about the increased carbon footprint associated with longer voyages and the potential impact on marine ecosystems around Cape Horn. This added another layer of complexity to the crisis, as stakeholders sought to balance economic imperatives with environmental sustainability. In response, multinational corporations and shipping alliances initiated collaborative efforts to develop more sustainable and efficient routing strategies. Investments in greener technologies and alternative fuels gained momentum, aiming to reduce the environmental impact of extended shipping routes. Simultaneously, advancements in real-time monitoring and predictive maintenance technologies were accelerated, leveraging data analytics and artificial intelligence to enhance the canal's resilience against future geological threats. The unfolding crisis not only tested the resilience of the Panama Canal, but also highlighted the imperative for global cooperation and adaptive strategies in the face of unforeseen challenges. As the world watched closely, the response to this crisis would set a precedent for managing infrastructure vulnerabilities and safeguarding the stability of international trade in an increasingly interconnected world. Ancient secrets unearthed. During investigations into the canal's structural issues, a stunning discovery emerged that shook the scientific community. Advanced sonar scans revealed ancient submerged structures initially mistaken for natural formations. These were remnants of a pre-Columbian civilization, showcasing intricate designs and advanced engineering that predated modern methods by centuries, possibly millennia. This revelation raised profound questions. Had the Panama Canal been built atop an ancient civilization's sophisticated creations? Were these structures ceremonial, residential, or infrastructural? The discovery redefined the region's history, suggesting that ancient peoples may have recognized the strategic importance of the isthmus and possibly attempted proto-canal systems or advanced water management. Archaeologists raced to study the site, constrained by the canal's operational demands and urgent repair needs. High-resolution images revealed paved pathways, foundation stones, and tools embedded in sediment. Experts debated their origins, with theories linking them to advanced pre-Spanish cultures or oral histories of lost Central American civilizations, challenging conventional timelines. Balancing modern challenges and ancient discoveries. The dual crises, modern engineering challenges and ancient revelations, intertwined, highlighting the delicate balance between progress and preserving history. On one side was the urgent need to stabilize a vital global trade artery. On the other, the responsibility to protect a groundbreaking chapter of human history. This convergence made the Panama Canal a focal point of global attention, illustrating the intricate relationship between human advancement and the echoes of the past. Structural failures and environmental pressures. The fractures in the canal's walls posed a significant threat to its integrity. Engineers warned that even minor seismic activity could worsen the faults, potentially leading to catastrophic failure. Comparisons were made to incidents like the 2017 Oroville Dam spillway collapse, where unnoticed cracks escalated into a near disaster, displacing 180,000 residents. Experts feared the canal faced a similar threat, with fractures becoming a ticking time bomb under environmental stress or heavy ship traffic. The stakes were global. The canal, facilitating 12,000 ships annually, is essential for reducing shipping times and costs between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. A failure would force ships to take the lengthy route around Cape Horn, significantly increasing fuel consumption and freight costs. Essential goods like oil, grain, and electronics could face severe delays, impacting industries reliant on just-in-time supply chains. Governments and markets reacted with alarm. Analysts predicted a trade slowdown lasting years, with economic fallout felt worldwide. The Panama Canal Authority, PCA, launched an emergency response, employing advanced technologies to assess and address the damage. Contingency plans aimed to reroute traffic and alleviate infrastructure stress, but time was critical. The rainy season threatened to worsen the fractures, and the newly discovered tectonic fault line added unpredictability. Discoveries deep below. Further investigations revealed vast reserves of rare minerals, including lithium and cobalt, essential for modern technologies. This discovery intensified debates over the canal's strategic importance. While the U.S. framed its intervention as infrastructure-focused, critics speculated about ulterior motives to secure resource access. Panama faced pressure to balance sovereignty over its newfound wealth with global interests, as nations like China expressed interest. Environmentalists warned of risks to the canal's ecosystem and integrity if mining proceeded. This turned the crisis into a geopolitical and economic flashpoint, highlighting the canal's role in shaping global resource competition and trade dynamics. Historical parallels, lessons from the past. The situation drew striking parallels to the Suez Canal crisis of the mid-20th century, where geopolitical tensions and economic interests clashed over control of a vital trade artery. In 1956, Egypt's nationalization of the Suez Canal, previously controlled by European powers, prompted military intervention by Britain, France, and Israel. This standoff underscored the strategic importance of such waterways and the lengths nations would go to secure their influence. Similarly, experts pointed out that the U.S.'s swift intervention in the Panama Canal crisis was not merely about infrastructure, but part of a broader strategy to maintain dominance over critical trade routes. Although the canal was handed over to Panama in 1999, the U.S. retained vested interests due to its economic and military reliance on the canal's seamless operation. By stepping in during the crisis, the U.S. signaled its ongoing commitment to safeguarding global trade while countering potential rivals, particularly China, which has made significant investments in Latin America and global shipping. Environmental concerns. Scientists raised growing concerns about the ecological impact of the Panama Canal's operations and the potential consequences of its repairs. The canal relies heavily on fresh water from nearby lakes, primarily Gatun and Alajuela, to function. Each transit through the locks requires millions of gallons of fresh water, which is drained into the ocean. This system has already placed significant stress on local ecosystems, as the lakes serve not only as reservoirs for the canal, but also as critical water sources for surrounding communities and wildlife. Recent studies revealed alarming declines in water levels, driven by climate change, deforestation, and increased water demand. Prolonged dry seasons and shifting rainfall patterns have further exacerbated the strain, with scientists warning of a potential tipping point where the lakes may no longer sustain the canal's operations. This scenario would not only threaten global trade, but also devastate regional biodiversity and the livelihoods of communities reliant on these ecosystems. The urgency of repairs added another layer of complexity. Could construction efforts further disrupt the fragile environmental balance? Engineers and ecologists debated whether sustainable solutions, such as recycling lock water or implementing advanced water conservation technologies, could mitigate the impact. Some proposed redesigning the canal's operational systems to rely less on freshwater drainage, drawing inspiration from modern initiatives like the Suez Canal's saltwater-based infrastructure. Others advocated for aggressive reforestation and watershed management programs to stabilize the region's hydrological cycles. Environmentalists argued that prioritizing the canal's functionality without addressing its ecological footprint would exacerbate existing challenges. They emphasized that the canal's long-term viability depends on a harmonious balance between human needs and environmental stewardship. The crisis presented an opportunity to adopt innovative practices that could make the canal a model of sustainable engineering, preserving both its economic importance and the ecosystems that sustain it. Mysterious anomalies, rising tides, and strange vibrations. Adding to the intrigue, unusual tidal patterns began to emerge in the canal's surrounding waters, baffling both locals and scientists. Fishermen reported seeing strange whirlpools forming unexpectedly, disrupting their routes and catches. Some described hearing deep, resonant sounds emanating from beneath the water, low-frequency vibrations that seemed unnatural and eerily rhythmic. These phenomena raised pressing questions. Could they be linked to the tectonic activity detected earlier, or were they symptoms of another underlying issue? Geologists and oceanographers were brought in to investigate. Preliminary studies suggested that these unusual occurrences might indeed be connected to shifts along the recently identified tectonic fault line beneath the canal. Such activity could be creating underwater pressure anomalies, leading to the whirlpools and sound waves reported by fishermen. Additionally, microseismic events, too subtle to be detected on land, might be amplifying these disturbances, signaling increased geological instability in the region. The implications were concerning. If tectonic shifts were actively influencing the canal's waters, they could pose new challenges to the already strained infrastructure. Increased underwater turbulence might exacerbate the fractures in the canal's walls, complicating repair efforts and endangering vessels navigating the waterway. Engineers began closely monitoring water flow and pressure dynamics, while seismic experts installed sensors to track ongoing activity. Meanwhile, the phenomena sparked widespread speculation and unease among locals. Some viewed the sounds and whirlpools as harbingers of larger seismic events, fueling fears of potential earthquakes or underwater landslides. Others connected the occurrences to folklore, recalling tales of hidden forces beneath the isthmus that had long been part of the region's cultural narrative. For scientists, these anomalies represented an opportunity to deepen their understanding of the canal's geological underpinnings. If the link to tectonic activity was confirmed, it would offer crucial insights into the fault line's behavior and help refine strategies for mitigating its impact. However, the mystery also underscored the fragile balance between human engineering and the powerful, unpredictable forces of nature, a dynamic that continues to shape the canal's fate. A global stake in stability. The economic ramifications of a disrupted Panama Canal were staggering. Experts estimated that even a week-long closure could cost the global economy billions, disrupting the flow of goods, raw materials, and energy resources. The canal, facilitating the transit of over 12,000 vessels annually, is vital for reducing shipping times and costs between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. Its closure would force ships to reroute around South America's Cape Horn, adding weeks to journeys and significantly increasing fuel consumption and freight costs. Comparisons were drawn to the 2021 Ever Given incident in the Suez Canal, where a single grounded vessel blocked the critical waterway for 6 days, delaying billions of dollars in trade. That event underscored the fragility of global supply chains, showing how a localized disruption could ripple through economies worldwide, leading to shortages, delayed shipments, and increased prices. Analysts warned that a Panama Canal shutdown would have an even broader impact due to its role in facilitating trade between major markets in Asia, the Americas, and Europe. Industries reliant on just-in-time supply chains, including electronics, automotive, and consumer goods, would be hit hardest. The crisis further highlighted the vulnerability of global trade networks and the urgent need for diversifying routes and improving supply chain resilience. Comparing the Panama Canal to other strategic waterways. While both the Panama and Suez Canals are pivotal to global trade, they face different challenges and geopolitical dynamics. The Suez Canal has historically been a flashpoint for military conflict, exemplified by the 1956 Suez Crisis, where control over the waterway became a symbol of colonial power struggles and international diplomacy. In contrast, the Panama Canal's challenges have shifted from military conflict to technical and environmental concerns, such as aging infrastructure, climate-driven water shortages, and the discovery of a nearby tectonic fault. Similarly, the Strait of Malacca, another crucial trade route, faces unique risks like piracy, overcrowding, and geopolitical tensions in Southeast Asia. Unlike the Panama Canal, which grapples with structural vulnerabilities and environmental pressures, the Strait of Malacca requires robust security measures to ensure safe passage. These contrasts illustrate the diverse challenges faced by the world's most important trade arteries, each shaped by its geography, history, and evolving global dynamics. Technological advancements and future preparations. Recent technological advancements have introduced AI-driven monitoring systems to the canal's operations. These systems predict stress points and identify early warning signs of potential failures. Despite these innovations, engineers admitted that no technology could entirely predict tectonic shifts. As repairs continue, the U.S. has called for a global coalition to safeguard critical trade routes. Joe Rogan's podcast posed a thought-provoking question. Are we prepared for the day when infrastructure can't keep up with the planet's demands? The answer may lie in collaborative efforts to future-proof such systems. Uncovering hidden treasures and threats. The discoveries beneath the Panama Canal highlight the interconnectedness of human history, technology, and nature. Could there be more hidden treasures or threats waiting to emerge? As we uncover these mysteries, one thing is clear: the Panama Canal story is far from over. Join the conversation. Leave a comment below and tell us which discovery amazed you the most. Do you think there are more ancient civilizations or hidden resources still waiting to be found? We'd love to hear your thoughts and theories. Stay connected. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated on more incredible discoveries and hidden wonders from around the world. Hit the bell icon so you won't miss our next adventure.